Hi, I'm Carl Adams. I don't usually do product reviews, but this Sony PXW X70 is an unusual camera. People need to see its strengths and weaknesses before deciding whether to buy it. This review was originally posted in January 2015, and there have been several changes since then. The original U.S. list price was $2,599. The U.S. list price is $2,249 in July of 2015, and you can buy it for less than $2,000. You can now purchase firmware to enable 4K recording for $500. Be sure to read the reviews before you purchase. See my written comments below for additional information. A free firmware upgrade, version 2.0, adds support for proxy files and streaming. The user interface is unchanged, and my original comments about operating the camera remain valid. I shoot almost every day in all types of weather. My main subjects are nature and birds, but I also do documentaries and events. My primary cameras are a Nikon D7100 for stills, a Panasonic GH3 for movies, and a couple of tape-based Canons for documentaries. I wanted to replace the Canons with a single camera that could be used for documentaries and to improve my nature movies with some more fluid handheld shots. The Sony's solid and well made. I dropped mine onto a wooden deck from about 3 feet, and it survived without damage. AVC HD video quality is as good as the Panasonic GH3 and adequate for scenes without too much detail or movement. I can operate the Sony with gloves. Autofocus holds tenaciously once it locks, and I really like it. Low light performance is good for normally lit household interiors and morning shots before sunrise. Image stabilization's a mixed bag. In situations like this windshield shot, with relatively large camera movements, it's sensational. However, I haven't been able to control small, quick movements, such as wind buffeting when the camera's on a tripod. The Sony has a motorized zoom. A detachable handle offers XLR inputs and good manual audio controls. Sound quality's good. A constant histogram is very useful for setting exposure. It doesn't shoot stills, nor does it have a weather-sealed body. It only offers standard definition digital video, AVC HD, and XAVC long GOP recording options. There isn't much support for XAVC long yet. Check the internet to see what is available for editing and playing your movies. It doesn't offer .mov or .mp4 recording options at a variety of bit rates. High bit rates are necessary for recording complex, fast-moving scenes like flocks of birds. It doesn't offer commonly used professional codecs. It's advertised as 4K ready, but can't shoot 4K now. The Sony has 7 status screens, but you can't set anything from them. You need to close status and make adjustments elsewhere. In comparison, the GH3 has a quick menu where you can see and set everything you commonly need. The GH3 and Nikon have user settings that can be stored in camera and accessed via dials. The Sony stores its camera settings on a memory card, so you have to keep track of your cards in addition to your settings. Also, the Sony reboots when you select a camera setting and goes dark for about 12 seconds, long enough to completely miss a once-in-a-lifetime nature shot. There are extensive ways to control image quality and set picture profiles, but they're not well explained. The microphone level meter disappears when you open the menu to set the level, unless you use the handle and XLR inputs. You have to close the menu to see the meter. How can you set what you can't see? The Sony has a white balance button, but it doesn't display the usual sun, shade, and incandescent options. Instead, it cycles between auto and 3 user presets. To set a preset, you push the white balance button and twist this dial to make your selection. Then you open the menu, select what you want to set again, and then set it. 2 of the 3 presets require a white card to set. White balance is inexcusably complicated. There are buttons for iris, gain, and shutter speed. They toggle between auto and user settings, which are made with the dial. The dial is a bit hard to reach. The ring, which can be switched between focus and iris, is also a bit hard to reach. Neutral density is set with this switch. With neutral density, I can shoot straight into sunrises. Terrific! I sometimes like to manually set everything except the iris, and then add an exposure correction. There's no exposure correction button. You need to open the menu to set exposure compensation. Okay, now the camera is set for my scene and I'm ready to frame my shot. The LCD is great. Pull the viewfinder out to turn it on. Then the LCD goes off if your eye or anything else gets near the viewfinder. I'm constantly pulling and pushing. The Sony doesn't go to sleep after a period of inactivity. Close the LCD and viewfinder, or you'll have a dead battery. There's no way to preset zoom speed for the on-camera zoom rocker. You control speed by how hard you push. A sure recipe for jerky zooms. This is inexcusable. The zoom range is 12 times optical and 24 times with Sony's clear image zoom. The latter works pretty well, but gets a bit noisy at the long end. The button to activate clear image zoom is hard to find by touch. The Sony has a ring, a rocker switch, a dial, 3 sliding switches, a start button, a joystick, and 16 small buttons, plus more controls on the handle. This Canon has logically grouped physical switches, easy to see and set. Nikon and Panasonic group their controls under your thumb and forefinger. Sony fills the space under your thumb with connectors and then festoons the body with buttons that all feel the same. I'll leave you to form your own conclusions. You can make great movies with the Sony if you work around its weaknesses. My take is that the Sony PXW X70 is a solid piece of hardware with limited codecs and clumsy, inadequate controls. I expected more from Sony.